Look, it is war again. King David sends his commander Joab out together with the whole Israelite army. They want to destroy a city from their enemies. But King David himself remains in Jerusalem. That's strange. One evening David gets up from his bed. He walks around on the roof of his palace. Then he sees a woman bathing. This woman is very beautiful. Wow, thinks David, I would like to have her as a wife. He sends someone to find out about her. But David, you have already a wife. The Lord doesn't want you to take another one. And when the messenger comes back and tells David she is Bathseba, the wife of Uriah, it also doesn't stop him. Even when he knows she is already married, he sends messengers to get her. Bathsheba comes to the palace. King David does as if he has married her. He takes her to his bedroom and makes love to her. He thinks no one will know. No one will find out. Does he forget that the Lord sees everything we do? Bathsheba goes back home, but after a while she finds out that she is expecting a baby, and she knows King David is the father. So she sends word to David. The king is shocked. Oh, he can only think about one thing. No one needs to know that he is the father. He needs to make a plan. So quickly he sends word to Joab, the commander of the army. Send me Uriah. And Joab sends Uriah to David. When Uriah arrives in the palace, David is very friendly. He asks him, "How is Joab doing? How are the soldiers? And how is the war going?" Uriah tells him everything. Then David says, "Go down to your house." And the king thinks, now everyone will know when Uriah has been home and his wife is pregnant, that Uriah is the father. He even sends a nice gift after Uriah. But Uriah doesn't go home. That night he sleeps at the entrance of the palace with all his servants. When David hears that, he asks Uriah to come back. He asks, "Why didn't you go home? You have come from a military campaign." Uriah says to David, "How can I go to my house to eat and drink and make love to my wife, while my commander Joab and all the servants of you are camping in the open field? As surely as you live, I will not do such a thing." Uriah is a very faithful servant. King David needs to make another plan. He says to Uriah, "Stay here one more day. Tomorrow I will send you back to the army." So Uriah remains in Jerusalem. That evening, David invites him for a meal in the palace. He gives him nice food and a lot of wine to drink. David makes him drunk. He thinks, now he will go home and no worries for me. But in the evening, Uriah goes out to sleep on his mat among the servants. He doesn't go home. Now what can David do? There's only one solution when you have sinned. You need to confess it to the Lord and make things right. But David makes it even worse. In the morning, he writes a letter to Joab and sends this letter with Uriah. Do you know what he wrote in the letter? Put Uriah out in front of the army, in a place that you can be sure that he will be attacked and that he will die. Oh, David, what are you doing? Do you see that often one sin follows the other? Let this be a warning for you. But what about Joab? Will he obey the king? Yes, he does. That is so bad. Never follow someone who wants to make you sin. What a terrible day. Uriah gets attacked and dies. David is so relieved when he hears this message. And Bathsheba? When she hears that her husband is dead, she mourns for him. After the time of mourning is over, David sends someone to the house of Bathsheba to bring her into his palace. She becomes his wife. And later a little son is born. They look like a happy family. Yes, you can think that no one will realize what you have done wrong. You can try to hide your sins. But do you know what I read in the Bible? The thing David has done displeases the Lord. So, what will happen next?